hard thing. I mean, I don't know if I have anything specific to tell you. It's been a hard thing, Judge. And I appreciate everything you've done in this court, all the judgments that you've made, any sacrifices that might have meant. You've been very important to me and my siblings for staying on this case and for doing everything you've done. So we appreciate you, and we're sorry we had to learn who you were under these circumstances. It's a very sad place, but we thank you for everything you've done, and we trust your decision when it comes to everything else moving forward.
Next we have Rick Cray, who is also speaking on behalf of Mike Cray.
Thank you.
And is the WebEx available?
It is. It should be up and running at this point. So what would you like me to know today?
This is for my brother Mike. There has been mention made in the testimony of witnesses and statements of attorneys about the closeness of the Cray family and about our shared belief in the possibility of the eternal nature of our families. As you have heard, there are a lot of us, 10, 5 girls, 5 boys. I am the oldest, my brother, and Angie is the youngest. I first met Angie when she was about 4 months old. Between the ages of 19 and 21, I was living in England and serving as a volunteer missionary for our church. When I left there, the our youngest brother, Tim, was 4 months old. When I returned home, 4-month-old Angie was there. I am closer to my parents in age than I am to Angie's age. I didn't get to live in the same house with Angie for very long, just a few months really, before I went away to school and eventually married and started my own family. Now we are all older and spread out. 6 of my siblings have eventually migrated to Utah over the years. I'm in Texas, Tim is in Arizona, Scott remains in western Kansas, and as you know, Angie ended up in Colorado. You might wonder how we can say that we are close when there are so many of us. There's a wide, gradual spread in ages, and we are spread around the country. You have heard about our text chain. We have had monthly FaceTime calls going before Angie was gone. Rotating Christmas gift exchange, birthday carol cards, and calls. Occasionally, family reunions, weddings, births, funerals, vacation visits, and other activities and events keep us up to date with each other. Whenever we get together, it's like we've never been apart. All those things certainly help us keep together and in touch, but they are only the support system for the primary force that makes us close. When we were growing up in our home, our parents set aside one night a week for family home meeting. We had a theme for our family, which we would repeat together during this time. Love makes our house a home. When you're born into the Cray family, you are accepted, you are included, you are loved. What is the requirement to be loved? Simply that you are a member of this family. That doesn't mean that, to say that we always agree on everything, that we always approve of everything anyone of us does. We are like many families who work through those sorts of things, and we are successful because there is an underlying foundation of love and acceptance. This is a magical force in our family. If you are a member of the immediate family, you receive this love and acceptance. If you marry into the family, you receive this love and acceptance. If you are a child of one of the siblings or nieces and nephews, you are recipients of that love and acceptance. We don't have to know a family member well to talk every day, to feel and to extend that love and inclusion. Even in the midst of challenges one of us might be facing. Angela was an insatiable lover of her family from a young age. She championed and loved a couple of her older siblings out of major challenges they were facing. One of them says she saved him. She was best friends with her older sister. Her love of genealogy stems from her love of her family. Our love for our nieces and nephews extends to concern for their well-being and upbringing. Also, we tend to be nosy. We love all of them because they are hers. I was always impressed with Angie's obvious love, friendship, involvement, care, and concern for her children. She loved them and supported them, and they loved and related to her. She was a special mother with a unique ability to connect with her kids. She was always finding ways to draw in and include members of our extended family. She was a light in our family that shone brightly. She didn't confine her love, service, friendship, and concern only to her family. We have heard from many friends who she has helped greatly and friends who loved her deeply. She was a force for positive change in her family, her own life, and in the lives of all those who had the opportunity to be around her. These words sound like superlatives, often spoken about someone who is gone. The amazing thing is they are not superlatives and can be attested to by almost everyone who knew. I speak of Andy as if she was still with us in this life. I wish that were true. Because Jim decided to betray her trust and ours. Because Jim decided to cast aside the love and forgiveness extended to him by Angie and us. Because Jim decided to bring shame to his family name and cast aside his good upbringing. Because Jim decided satisfying his lusts, needs, financial issues, and desires was more important than having his children raised by a mother who loved them. Because of the selfishness, greed, lust, dishonesty, and narcissism of Jim Craig, this bright young light has been extinguished. She is not here to add her light and strength to our family's love and companionship. She's not here to shine her light on the lives of her children. And we worry about that and them. There is a hole in the fabric of our family. There is a hole in the fabric of our family that cannot be filled. It is impossible to calculate the love, service, and good things lost because her life was needlessly and cruelly cut short. We join the knowledge that this life is not the end, and that families can be eternal, that through Jesus Christ all things are possible. I still wish I had my baby sister here today so I could continue to watch her shine and be a recipient of her light. I would just add some things. Mike covered a lot of things that I wanted to say. Gave a good introduction to our family. But I want to add some things about Angie that are more experiences that I had. My name is Rick Pray. I'm number 3, second boy in the family. When Angie was born, I was about 17, and she was a cute little baby. Just even then, you could see her personality. So I got to be in a big family. I got a lot of experience changing diapers. So I'm sure that I changed Angie's diapers. And she would probably say that her poop didn't stink, but I will attest it did. And she was just fun. I like babies anyway, but she was fun. I left to a mission also. I went to Belgium, Holland. And when I came back a couple of years later, she was 4 years old, about somewhere in there. And so she was at that age where she was talking, and she talked a lot. And I wish I could remember all the funny things she said, but I can't, I just remember that it was just fun to watch her grow up and to learn, and she was a little precocious, but very fun to be around. But I, like Mike, I went off on my own life. I went to, well, actually, when I got back, I went to junior college, and so I was there for only 2 years. Then I went to BYU and got married, and you know, all that thing. It's the kinds of things that you do as you grow up. And so I would see her, like Mike said, at family events and things that we attended once in a while, and they'd come to Utah sometimes. So things got, it was not as easy to remain close, but because we are the family that we are, we did. We knew what she was doing and what things were going on in her life. 2013, my dad died, and that was one of the things that brought our family together. And we got to catch up on a lot of stuff, and that was kind of a sad occasion for us. But we buried him, and then we had to take care of my mom. We brought her out to Utah, so we had to sell her house, and she was there helping whenever she could be. We got her house in Payson, Utah, and then she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, brain cancer. And we, all of the kids that were here or there, took turns, 24-hour shifts with my mom for 10 months. And Angie would come up, and she'd be there. And so I got to know her even better as an adult as we went through. And the kinds of service that she provided for my mom while she was there. She's very accurate with her medication, kept records, helped us do all that kind of stuff. And it was good to have her around. In fact, when she was there, we would tease my mom. My mom, we all have pretty good sense of humor, but my mom had a good sense of humor too, and we tease her about things, even sometimes things she couldn't do because of a brain tumor, which seems cruel, but it's not. It's funny. And she would laugh, and Angie had some good sarcastic things that she would do, and it was just fun, even when we were suffering. She went through, when my mom died, she took all the photographs that we found in the basement and we cleaned out, and she digitized all those things, and it was a big process because there were a lot of photographs that my mom had inherited from her mom, and some even past that. And she took them, all the ones she couldn't get done while she was there back to her house, and she continued working on them, and we would get updates. And it was great. And we still have those things out on the web that we can look at because Angie took that time. My wife became good friends with her through the years. We went up to see Mira's wedding. We went up to help her out, to help Angie get everything ready. And I got to hang all the lights and chimneys, and it took me almost all day to do it. But I was glad to do it. It was really fun to be with her and see how she works and how she loved her children. And the things that she had done in that wedding were amazing. She had stuff for kids up on the stage and all kinds of displays that we put together. She was really dedicated to Miriam. And just things like that through our whole lives. She was always there for somebody who needed her. And there's a lot of other things I could say, but I've taken enough time for that. But the last thing I remember actually from that, I think that wedding was one of the last times I ever spent a good amount of time with Angie. The next thing that she did that I remember was Wendy and her and Tony and I think Kathy went to Roots Tech, which is the genealogy thing, and that's the last time we So we got to Aurora. When she was dying on the way, we found out that it was possible that Jim had poisoned her while we were in the car on the way. And it was very shocking to even think that that would happen to you. When we got there, one of the things we were there with Jim's parents, and I got to talk to them a bit, and it was really difficult to be there and knowing what he had done and talking, or at least as far as I knew, we had enough evidence to know it was pretty certain that's what had happened. And talking to his parents was, because I couldn't tell them, and I knew this was going to hit them hard. So the night before, just a few experiences. The night before he got arrested, he came home, and that was really difficult. I met him coming down the stairs. I was in the living room. He came down the stairs and hugged me, and I wasn't in a hugging mood, but first time in my life that I felt like I just really wanted to see him up. And, but I didn't. It's not me. And later that evening, he held a family night for his children and taught about the atonement. And my sister Becky, who's really close to Angie, I remember her kind of pounding her head. I think the dishwasher, something not real hard, but she was having a really hard time. But to sit there and listen to him teach the atonement to his children, knowing what he had done. And I would just like to say to Jim, just a little bit, that, to think about what you've done. Think about your parents, and I would just ask one thing, that you tell your parents that you come clean and you tell them the whole story and apologize to them so that they don't have to suffer and wonder about anything. I love Angie. I wish she was here, but she's not, and we'll see her again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have Mark Craig.
Thank you. What would you like me to know?
Well, I'm Mark, number 6. You can tell in a large family we have this sliding window. The upper 5, the lower 5. I'm the big brother of the lower 5. Even though Angela's 10 years younger than I am. And big brother in the way where you throw him up in the air and you have him on your shoulders and her head's getting hit by the ceiling fan. You don't realize it's wrong. You're still a teenager. That kind of relationship. The thing I want, hopefully, everybody to understand maybe a little bit more about Angela from a worldly perspective. People are going to think maybe she should have left this relationship early, right? Maybe not giving so many chances. Maybe she was codependent, all those crazy psychobabble things that you're going to hear, I'm sure, as they come up. But that wasn't who Angie is. There's a couple of types of people, I think, in this world. There's villains. They're selfish, they think about themselves, and they'll kill you to take what they want. And then there's heroes, and they'll give their lives so that you can have the things you need, so that you can live. And the Savior taught us that the greater love hath no man than this, that he lays life down for his friends. Angela didn't know that her husband and father of her children would kill her. Or I'm sure she would have left. What she did know was what she had a better understanding of was what love is. And love is more than a feeling. It's a commitment that you make to somebody on how you will treat them, that you'll always be there for them. And Angela loved her family. She was willing to suffer way beyond what I would have been willing to take. Betrayal and abuse from her husband. Because she believed she could help him maybe overcome those demons and keep her family together. Of course, it didn't work out that way. Because Jim killed her. But we've heard this idea, we have the concept of eternal families in our religion. We know that families can exist as a family unit beyond this life. It's not something that's given. You have to make and keep sacred covenants with the Lord, and they're easy. It's just to live the gospel and to love others. One of the specific covenants we make is to be loyal, completely loyal, with complete fidelity and chastity to your spouse. If you break those covenants, you don't have that promise of an eternal family. Angela kept her covenants. She acted with love. Jim didn't. Angela will have her children in the next life because of her family, and Jim won't. Even though we miss her. And when she was with us, in the end, Angie went. We know we'll see her again. She's there waiting for us. She's there waiting for her children. It'll just take a little bit of time. Angela was a hero, and the world needs more heroes like Angela.
Thank you.
Now next we have Kathy Pray.
And they come with me.
Stand up.
What would you like me to know?
Hello, Judge. First, I wanted to say the sheer we have an impact this heinous crime has had on our family. We're so grateful for you, for the amazing, for the compassionate support, but the amazing job they did. Although I have to say, there was so much evidence. At times I felt as though they were swatting a fly with a wrecking ball. It was so comforting to be able to be on this side. When I was 15, Angela was born, and I adored her from the very beginning. And I called her Dee, which is what I called her whole life. Out of the 9 older siblings, there's not one of us that would have hesitated to put ourselves between her and danger. None of us could have imagined that the person she chose as her companion, the father of her 6 children, and the man we welcomed into our family as our trusted brother-in-law, would callously and cruelly and without mercy take her life. And he perpetrated this murder while she was in her own home with her own children around her. It's heartless, cowardly. He's a pretender and a liar. He's a snake in the grass. Conversely, Angela was generous. If you needed help, Angela was there. It didn't matter if you were 15 years older than her or 2. She wanted to improve herself and was always learning new things and choosing to try new experiences. She was funny and happy, and you've heard all of this over and over because we can't think of any other words. These are the words to describe her. She loved life, she loved her children without bounds. Family, whether it be her siblings and her parents, her children. They were and are the center of her universe. She was a force for good and wanted to accomplish so many things. She was so busy. She was a loyal friend. She never gave up on her marriage. She never stopped trying to rebuild trust when it was destroyed, never stopped trying to love the man that she had committed herself to, and he killed her for it. She could not know that this man was and is only capable of loving himself. It has been excruciating to hear the details of her life with this person whose judgment and treatment of her and his relentless infidelity were a constant source of anguish and heartache. To see the videos of him poisoning her over a period of 10 days, causing intense pain, confusion, and helplessness that ended in her horrific death has been unbearable. He seemed almost giddy as he recorded her symptoms to us in our family chat. He knew what kind of pain and trauma he was inflicting. He was torturing her. It has been shocking. We were fooled. We were unable to help her. We were unable to save her. We were unable to rescue her from the person that was supposed to honor her, protect her, and love her. He killed her. And then, in an attempt to save himself from the consequences of his despicable crime, he and his defense team disparaged her by attacking her mental health, her trust, her strength, her faith, her commitment to family, and her ability to keep a confidence. In an act of ultimate betrayal and ridiculous irony, they accused her of taking her own life. Simply shameful. His name is intentionally omitted from my statement. I don't plan to ever speak it again. I will walk away from this courthouse and I will never look back. I will leave the final judgment to God. This convict is no longer my concern. He will join thousands of other prison inmates that are living the life they have earned because of their selfish and evil choices. Those are his people now. Ironically, this person who lived for the excitement of expensive cars, rich food, and a constant stream of women won't ever drive again. He'll never again be alone with a woman, and he won't even be able to pick the clothes he wears or the food he eats, and I'm okay with that. Angela's gone. Losing a sibling is like losing a limb. How is it possible? Angela is loved fiercely. We believe in life after this one, and that we can be together again. I believe that when she left this world, she was greeted by our parents, our grandparents, our brother-in-law, our nephew, and so many others that cherish and love her. I know she's happy. She's watching over her children and her siblings and all those she loves. I will see her. I will hug her. And I will belly laugh with her again. In fact, I'm sure that Angela, when we leave this life, will be the one to embrace us, to make us laugh, and to take charge of the situation, because that's what Angela does. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Can I just make sure that I get your name for the record?
Catherine, Kathryn.
Next, Your Honor, we'll hear from Tony Kope.
Good afternoon, Judge. I'm going to direct some of my remarks to the defendant and some to the court, but I will be.
I'm gonna ask that you direct them to me.
Okay, I will be looking at
Thank
it.
you.
I stand here today knowing that no matter how I feel, And no matter what I say, it will not have any effect on you. You're incapable of having real feelings for anyone, including yourself. So I speak today for my baby sister and best friend, Angela Dawn Prey, and her 6 wonderful children, who because of you will have to go through the rest of their lives without her in it. Her loss has left a void in my life that can never be filled. No more phone calls. No more texts. No more trips together where we talk and laugh through the night. You have taken away our opportunity to grow old together. We may be 13 years apart, but our hearts and friendship knew no age. Angela was beautiful, inside and out. She was smart, funny, confident, loyal, faithful, and honest. She was a fierce protector and always put others' needs before her own. She was nothing like she was described to you and to us over the last almost 3 weeks. Isolated, private, angry, closed, or broken. If she was isolated, she was lost in a good book or a great movie and didn't want to be interrupted. If she was private, she wasn't secretive or deceitful. She kept personal things personal and confidences confidential. She was the kind of friend everyone needs. Someone you can trust with the most personal and, yes, private things. If she was angry, as everyone can be, that just means she had authentic human emotion, something you know nothing about. Closed, I believe, was the new word used to describe her by your defense team. Closed implies she was withdrawn and withered. Angela was anything but withered. She was strong, and she knew who she was. She could command a room just by entering it. Her home was open to anyone who came, invited or not. It was a gathering place, and that's how she liked it. And the word that you allowed to be said over and over and over again was broken. For years you planned, you plotted, and you schemed to break her for your own selfish, unfathomable ends, but you never could. Ange was the picture of hope and optimism. In true Angela fashion, she wanted to help you, to understand you, to believe that you could be good. She didn't have a weak and broken mind. Her mind was clear and concise. She survived being married to you until you decided to repay her for her kindness, forgiveness, and willingness to love you by taking her life. Her life was not yours to take. Angela had a love and a passion for life. She loved her children, and unfortunately, she loved you. You didn't make it possible for her you did make it possible for her to have the true loves of her life. Tolliver, Mira, Belle, Cleo, Nora, and Violet. She would do anything for her children. Not a day or conversation went by that she didn't send me a biasm or tell me something that her kids were doing or had done, good or bad. They were indeed her life. They were the joy that continued to make her heart beat. You have taken that away from them. Moms are moms, and she isn't perfect. But her love for her children is, that I know. Your marriage was not complicated. It was simple. You were dishonest, a cheat, and a heartless excuse of a human being. You not only purchased the weapons of her death, but you watched her slowly die as you casually walked through her house, as if it were just another day, all the while she is trusting you, relying on you, and continuing to believe you cared for her. You were supposed to be her protector, her advocate. She just didn't know that you were the perpetrator. You were the one lurking in the shadows of darkness and evil, getting anxious for the life to go out of her. You were a coward and you will never know what freedom feels like again. Angela was the light you never deserved. You may have temporarily dimmed her light in this life, but it will continue to shine in those she loves and that love her in return. She loves without guile, even someone who doesn't deserve it. You were never worth it, and you never will be. You once told Angela that she wasn't enough. I hope you go to the grave knowing that you were the one that wasn't enough, and you never will be enough. I love you, Angela. I made a promise to you when we said goodbye to you for the last time in the hospital. I told you that I would make sure that we got justice. Today, thanks to our prosecution team, Bobby Olson, and you, Judge, that promise has been fulfilled. Angela, you and I might not be able to be together for now, but I know you will always be with me until we are together again.
Thank you.
Do you need my name?
Please, for the record.
Sherry Craig Earl.
Thank you.
These are my thoughts on grief and family, and you've heard a lot. I appreciate the chance, first of all, to speak openly about my sister's death after a very long public silence from our family. I am the oldest daughter in our family, and Angela is the youngest daughter, so she and I did not live in the same house together for long. I left for college before she was born, and by the time she was 6 months old, I was married and never lived at home again, but I saw her often. In fact, she was only a year and a half older than my oldest child, Michael, so they were really more like brother and sister than nephew and aunt. At one point, Angela tried to make Michael and his younger twin brothers call her Aunt Angela. Of course, they said no, which is how most of their interactions played out. Angela tried to be the oldest child for a change, and they would push back. When Michael passed away suddenly at age 18, Angela took his death hard, as we all did. She stayed by his bedside in the hospital until the doctors took him off life support, sitting vigil for him until the last. I know her reunion with my parents and my son was sweet. One of my last conversations with Ange before she died was about homeschooling Nora and Violet. Ange was trying to figure out a solid English curriculum for this new venture she and the girls had embarked on less than 6 weeks before she was murdered. I know she contacted my other sisters as well, grilling them for resources and preparing herself so she could give Nora and Violet the best education possible. I admire her courage, and I know she worried that she wasn't up to the task. But being determined and strong-willed, Ange charged ahead in spite of her misgivings. She often felt the need to take charge and to prove, I think, that she was no longer the baby of the family, but a capable, grown woman. Ange was, and probably still is, as stubborn as the rest of our family, a fun and generous sister, a devoted daughter, and one hilarious and smart mom to her equally hilarious and smart children. Family is important to Ange, and she is important to us. So as a family, what does moving forward without her look like? After 2 years, I'm honestly still not sure, but I do have a thought. I determined years ago that those individuals who love sincerely and feel genuine concern for others are the only ones who can reach us with sympathy, encouragement, and hope, especially in the most agonizing moments of our lives. Strangers who rattle off plastic condolences as if reading them from a ticker tape, or who are morbidly interested in my family's pain and mine, simply offend me. Then there are the voyeurs, people who don't think to alleviate suffering or offer comfort, but have, for whatever reason, an odd need to know what's going on in my life in graphic detail. I find myself wishing they would fight their overwhelming curiosity a little harder. For the most part, though, people have kind motives. They want to console but don't know how, and I am grateful for their sensitivity. The people who offer the greatest comfort to me, however, feel as deeply as I do about losing Angie, and most of those are in my own family. They understand without words the often unbearable emptiness I feel, the anger and the sadness, the loneliness, the despair in the wake of what has been taken from us. As a family, we are unique in our grief, but also in what we can give to each other, that no one else living on this earth can. No one loves Angie as we do, and no one feels her loss as keenly as we do. Now that this trial is nearly over, the world will go back to life as usual, while we will be left alone to find our way forward together. That is why we are and should be to each other the greatest comfort and the greatest strength as we learn how to be a family, -1. I hope you don't mind if I end with just a few lines from a short poem by Marie Howe. I hear the groans already. Okay. Written after the death of her brother. Howe expresses better than I can what it looks like to live on in the face of a devastating loss. The poem is titled, What the Living Do. For weeks now, driving or dropping a bag of groceries in the street, the bag breaking, I've been thinking, this is what the living do. And yesterday, hurrying along those wobbly bricks in the Cambridge sidewalk, spilling my coffee down my wrist and sleeve, I thought it again. And again later, when buying a hairbrush. This is it. Parking, slamming a car door shut in the cold. What you called that yearning. What you finally gave up. We want the spring to come and the winter to pass. We want whoever to call or not call, a letter, a kiss. We want more and then more of it. But there are moments, walking, when I catch a glimpse of myself in the window glass, say, the window of the corner video store, and I'm gripped by a cherishing so deep for my own glowing hair, chapped face, and unbuttoned coat, that I'm speechless. I am living. I remember you. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Miriam. I was the second child of my mom and dad, her oldest daughter, and although I may not have been hers, she was my best friend. A lot of people keep telling me that my mom is here with me, but I hope more than anything that she's not. I hope she's somewhere so much better, yelling at people for not labeling their family history pictures. On the videos and pictures and stuff that we've seen throughout the duration of this trial, you've seen some of the ugliest dogs in the world. Two little fuzzballs that followed my mom everywhere. They loved her so much. One of them, he should be dead by now. We don't know how he's made it this long. I was supposed to be able to hug my mom when he died. And instead I was left to take him home and figure out what to do with him since my mom was gone. I was supposed to be able to plan my sister's weddings with my mom, even though there was nothing in the world I wanted to do less than plan weddings. I was supposed to be able to share with her the stories, the things happening in my life, and the projects that I started and never finished, and I was supposed to be able to trust my dad. He was supposed to be my hero, and instead he'll forever be the villain in my book. And it hurts so bad every day, and I miss her so much. And I know there are so many more people that would love to be able to stand up and say a lot about my mom and how wonderful she was, and some people who would even love to stand up and remind us some of the stupid things she did and said, and some of her crazy moments. But I think I speak for everyone when I say that life and the world will truly never be the same. It will never
regret every single day that I didn't, that I don't get to spend my days growing up and introducing her to my babies and their babies and worrying about, like what retirement home she should be in, or I should hire an in-home nurse or something. I don't know, Judge, I miss her. I want my mom. I want more than anything to go home at the end of the day and just give her a hug and call her and tell her about all the crazy stuff that's happened. And to get her advice, whether asked for or not, on my life. And I don't know, it's a terrible situation, and we, like my brother said, we trust your decision, and we trust that justice has and will be served. And thank you to you and to the jury and to everybody who's here supporting my mom. Thank you guys for everything, and I'm sorry this is happening.
Thank you. Is that everyone?
That's everyone on behalf of Angela.
Thank you.
The defendant, James Craig, stands convicted of murder in the first degree after deliberation of his wife, Angela. This court heard he plotted, planned, researched, purchased substance after substance, and as she survived and fought for her life, he found new ways to poison her, new substances, new means of administering those poisons. But most importantly, he took her away from her friends and family, some of whom the court has heard from today. We sat through, heard the evidence of what the defendant did, and the penalty for murder in the first degree is life in prison without parole. There's not discretion before the court as to that sentence, but if there were, that would still be the appropriate sentence for James Craig for what he did. In addition, he stands convicted of 5 other counts, and the common thread in 4 of those are that he embarked on a campaign to drag Angela's name through the dirt. He claimed that she was framing him, or she was suicidal because she couldn't stand to be without him in her life, or that she was manipulating him. None of those things were true. As the evidence showed, as the jury found, what had actually happened was through his doing, not through any fault of Angela, not through anything that she could have done differently. It was James Craig and his choices from day one. Some of those things the court heard that he did are the attempt to make a deepfake video, the planting of false documents, paying witnesses to perjure themselves. And because these are separate acts after the fact of the murder, to cover up that murder, we're asking the court to apply a consecutive sentence to those counts. As he became increasingly desperate, realizing the evidence against him, he also tried to hire someone to kill witnesses against him, including Detective Olson, who's again in the courtroom today. And even an attempt to do those things would obviously have a chilling effect on witnesses in this case, in every case in front of this court. And so that has a significant impact on the community when any defendant tries to do something of that nature, to silence or intimidate witnesses. And so because that is a separate and independent act, we would ask the courts to apply that sentence consecutive as well. And so the sentence that the people are asking for in this case is life in prison without parole, plus an additional 57 years. That would be the highest amount on each of those counts 2 through 6. That's enough about the defendant. Let's turn back to Angela. From everything the court has heard, both from witnesses who knew her and testified in this case, from her friends and family, from the statements that were made here today, she was loving, selfless, family-oriented, just a wonderful woman. That's the only conclusion that can be drawn from all of the information that was presented about her. She'll be missed at family events, those group chat messages, and video chats. She'll miss out on trips to learn about genealogy and American history. She'll miss college graduations, high school graduations, even elementary school graduation for her youngest. She'll miss out on any weddings. And she won't meet any grandchildren, at least in this life. And for the court to find the appropriate sentence in this case, I think that is what should be the focus here. On what has been taken from this community, on what has been taken from this family, when that light was taken from this world. Thank you.
Thank you. We turn to the defense and see if there was anyone who wished to speak apart from the parties.
No, Your Honor.
Any statement that you wish to make at this time?
No, Your Honor, it's a mandatory sentence.
Finally, I'll turn to Dr. Craig and ask whether or not he wishes to make a statement prior to sentencing.
No, Your Honor, he does not.
Thank you. As both of the parties have indicated today, the sentence that the court has to impose on count one is a mandatory sentence of life without the possibility of parole. I'm going to keep my statements, I think, relatively brief because in some ways the evidence, the crime, the verdict, and the sentence all speak for themselves. Dr. Craig unleashed a path of destruction as wide as a tornado and just as devastating. Damage to his children, damage to Angela's family, damage to his own family. None of the individuals that are here in the courtroom before the court today will ever be the same. Their losses may be different, they may feel different, but everybody here shares a loss, whether that is a mother who is no longer there, whether that is a son who will now be in prison for the remainder of his life. The individuals here today will share at least a loss. I do want to focus a little bit on the family. One of the things that I guess has been most impressive to the court has been the ability for the family to maintain some humor and some light. The ability to withstand the urge to dim the family and to allow her light to extinguish, but rather to embrace the joy she brought, to retell the stories, and to continue to create memories, perhaps not with her, but about her. It's a demonstration of the strength and resilience of the family. The children will need that strength, the guidance, and the loving hands from all of you. It's an impossible hole to fill when a child loses a parent, and a loss such as this cuts even deeper and more jagged under the circumstances in the situation when both parents are lost. Concluding today with a verdict and a sentence closes this chapter, but unfortunately, and perhaps maybe for the best, not the book. And I think that that is important for the family to remember as you continue to grieve, move on, maintain your alarms at 10 p.m., to take the time to remember who she was and what she meant to the family, and the memories that all of you now have the opportunity to share without having the additional burden of trial, hearings, court appearances, and to be able to put that behind so that you can begin to heal. It's a hole that will never fully be filled, but hopefully it is one that will be filled with joy, stories, and memories as all of you continue your text chain and all of the joy that you bring to one another. With that, the court at this time then will pronounce sentence as to count one murder in the first degree, the class 1 felony. Court hereby sentences Dr. Craig to life without the possibility of parole. As to count 2, solicitation to commit tampering with physical evidence, the class 6 felony, the court at this time sentences Dr. Craig to 18 months in the Department of Corrections to run consecutive to count 1. As to count 3, solicitation to commit tampering with physical evidence, a class 6 felony, the court also imposes an 18-month Department of Corrections sentence to run consecutive to count 2 and consecutive to count 1. As to count 4, solicitation to commit perjury in the first degree, the class 5 felony, the court at this time will sentence Dr. Craig to 3 years in the Department of Corrections. Count 4 to run consecutive to all other counts. Count 5, solicitation to commit murder in the first degree, the class 2 felony. The court at this time will sentence Dr. Craig to 24 years in the Department of Corrections. That count to run consecutive to all other counts. Count 6, solicitation to commit perjury in the first degree, class 5 felony. The court at this time will sentence Dr. Craig to 3 years in the Department of Corrections to run consecutive to all other counts. Do we have a calculation of pre-sentence confinement credit?
We'll file something, Judge.
Thank you. Court at this time will note pre-sentence confinement credit from the date of arrest. Will amend minimus upon receipt of the pre-sentence confinement. And with that, the court at this time then will remand Dr. Craig to the custody of the Department of Corrections. Let me ask quickly though, before we do that, is there restitution that the court needs to be aware of?
No, Your Honor.
Court at this time will note on the minimus no restitution is being requested at this time. Anything else from the people?
No, thank you.
From the defense? No. With that, court is in recess.